Hello and welcome to Beacon of Hope Friday special edition. We are here tonight as usual. This is our Friday program, and I'm excited and looking forward to what we have tonight. But just before we go to that, I always remind you about our sponsors, and here we go.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. Too mucky too. Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. Too mucky too.
Hello, and welcome. And once again, it's our Friday special edition of Beacon of Hope, where we bring different topics, where we discuss different topics. And remember, the idea behind Beacon of Hope is to inspire, to motivate, to teach. So whenever you're here, know that there is always something new for us to learn. There's always something that we need to take from here. And what is our take tonight? Tonight, I've got a very, very special gentleman, a dear friend of mine, a brother who lives in the UK with me. And he has come to discuss or to tell us more about different careers. You know what? This guy has been a broadcaster for many years. He'll talk about this. He's done it all. He's met all big personalities. He's interviewed so many people. He's still pursuing his career. He's a family man. He's a Christian. I mean, he's done so much even for our community. He's a community leader among the Kenyans in UK. And, so he wants really to talk about his career path and how our people can venture into journalism, into media, because he's done it. He's been there and he knows it's possible, it's doable. So we do not have to fear. And of course, as Christians, we believe that with God, all things are possible. There is nothing that God cannot do. So tonight, I would like, as you log in, as you join, I know we joined in a bit earlier than anticipated. I would request you to kindly share. That is what I'm just about to do. I would request you to invite people. I would request you to share. Let as many people come and hear this, because whenever we come here, these messages are not mine. These messages are meant for you. And if it's not for you, you can help somebody else. Could be your neighbor, could be your child, could be your brother, could be your sister, because we're given different career paths. We are guided into how to venture into different avenues. So whenever we come here, I always tell people, tune in, listen. There must be something for you, because we are here to inspire. We are here to motivate. We are here to teach. And that is Beacon of Hope for You Friday special edition. And I'm going to bring in my guest tonight. But just before we do that, I am still asking you to share. As you come in, please share so that our guest has an audience, because that's the whole idea. He wants to come and talk to people. And even those who will come and listen and follow us later on. Yes, because we are here live on YouTube, Beacon of Hope. We are here on Facebook. You can go to my page, Elizabeth Kangeve, and you will see what we are presenting tonight. And without much further ado, I'm going to bring in my brother, my friend, Julius Belito. Aha, here we are.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much. It's really a great honor to be on your platform.
Aha.
We have interacted in many different situations, and it's always honor to be here. So therefore, yeah, it's great. I'm excited to be here, really.
You are not more excited than I am. Would you like to just briefly introduce yourself? Because we assume people know you, but you know what? People don't know. They've only seen Dr. Julius, but they don't know who is this. Go on, please introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, my name's Julius Mbaluto. I'm Kenyan, very, very Kenyan. I know a lot of my brothers across Africa, they claim me as well. Ethiopians do, others think I'm Somali. And actually, I've been even claimed by South Africans and Zimbabweans. But yeah, I'm very Kenyan, very, very Kenyan. so, so, yes, I'm a journalist. I've been a
Mhm.
broadcaster here in the UK. My journey began in Kenya, where I was a screenwriter and also screen actor. Screenwriter is somebody who writes television program, drama, soaps, or detective series like I did, but also screen actor because I have been, before I ventured into journalism, I was an actor, screen actor, acting for TV basically. I did a bit of theater acting as well, but my major one was television acting as well, and television writing as well at the same time.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow,
so
wow. Before you go on, you said you acted. I didn't know this. This is new to me. So, can you tell us a bit of what did you act and where and which programs or which TV? Maybe some people would
yeah, of course.
recognize that face.
If you flash back, early late 80s, back in Kenya, we had only one television channel, Voice of
Mm-hmm.
Kenya.
Yes.
So my journey began in Voice of Kenya. I acted
Mm-hmm.
in Play of the Week. Those who remember Play of the Week,
Yeah, yeah.
um, I ended up also acting and writing for a detective series. We used to call it The Wheel, like
Mm-hmm.
The Wheel. It was
Mm-hmm.
an English detective series by Voice of Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Then my acting went into many different programs. If you remember Mchezo wa Hadithi, I acted on Mchezo wa
Yes.
Hadithi as well.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And when you look into, I'm dealing with the ones that was Voice of Kenya before it changed into KBC. Then, yeah, when it changed into KBC, I was so lucky. I thank God for the opportunity. I found myself working hand in hand with Kenyan police,
Uh-huh.
doing a detective series, Tahamaki. Tahamaki, for those who do not know, is a Swahili word. It means beware,
Mm-hmm.
beware. So when you see Tahamaki, it means be aware, be aware. And our remit was to highlight hotspots where crime was likely to happen. So if you live in the cities, we are like telling you, when you reach this place, watch out, there's some thieves hiding somewhere. And it was great honor to work with the police wherever we went to film
Mm-hmm.
Tahamaki. We
Uh-huh.
were blessed even to use police cars and everything. And we used to like be with armed police officers on site while we were working.
Wow.
So it was
Wow.
exciting, extremely exciting. So Tahamaki went on for a long time. I was one of the main characters in Tahamaki.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the equivalent of that was the Eagle. Also, the Eagle was also a detective series for in English rather. And did you ever know that I was a comedian? Have you ever thought of that?
No, no, no. This is actually something very new to me. I mean, you're telling me things that is strange. Never thought of this. I mean, so you're a jack of all trades. You've done so much in your life. Come on, you don't look. You're so
Yeah, I
experienced in
know,
this
I know.
field. Uh-huh.
When you hear me having sense of humor, having a comedian,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
when Voice of Kenya changed to KBC, I was one of the main characters on Mahoka. Mahoka was a 1 hour long comedy on
Ah.
KBC.
Uh-huh.
It used to come on Saturdays, just 1 hour long, which was pretty unusual. And we were doing it in a very modern way. So I
Uh-huh.
was one of the major characters for
Mm-hmm.
Mahoka. My
Mm-hmm.
my character name was Shombo Shomboka, Simba wa Mji wa Macho.
You know, you
Whatever you
know
call
what?
that.
You know what, Julius, as you continue, John Kanieru is here and he's saying, you are really reminding us those guys ambao wanakumbuka the VOK. I know somebody like my son here, Jeff Kush. he's just puzzled. He's wondering, what are you guys talking about? Jeff, would you like to invite people so that wasikize? Kuna wale wazee ambao wanajua wamefanya hii kazi. And I can see my daughter Tezrecha. I don't even know whether you know about VOK, KBC, all these things. Maybe you only know about the building. So waalikeni wengine mnasikia Mwangi Manuthu, I know. Maybe you just passed there. Mwangi is all the way in Seattle and I know. Wengine ambao wamekuja hapa wanasikia as though this is stories to you, zenye unasema you worked in KBC, you worked in VOK, Voice of Kenya. Those are he's on the legends like us. Akina
No,
Kanieru,
I quite
nimeona
love it. It
Kanieru
was a
amefurahi
beautiful
sana kuona.
experience.
So
Yeah,
can
it was
I
a
ask,
beautiful
can I
experience.
kindly ask these people wenye ambao wamekuja na kuona Esther Wakang'au? Yes, Queen Esther Wakang'au is a legend too, kama sisi lazima akumbuke hizo. Anasema anakumbuka Voice of Kenya, VOK. So tafadhalini wenye ambao umekuja, can you please share? Can you invite somebody? Our guest tonight has got so much experience. He's got so much to share. And I would like people to log in. I would like people to come in and hear from the legends. Watu ambao wamekuweko, ambao wanajua. Unajua these days anybody can be a journalist, anybody can, especially with the phones, and anybody can join the media world, but what you're sharing is the real truth, the raw material that used to be the proper journalism, where you guys had to go through hard stuff. So I'm requesting everybody who is here. Naona my son Bonnie is saying Tahamaki was great. You see, kuna wao ambao sio legends vile, lakini wanakumbuka wanakumbuka hizo zote. Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead Julius, and tell us a bit more about what you did.
I tell you, it was lovely experience with Tahamaki. Number one, we became an enemy of everybody. Why do I say enemy of everybody? The Betico Kenyans who never knew where acting started and stopped. So if they saw you acting as a robber, the day after they see you on the street, they are calling the police. Say, we saw him, he killed. Last night he killed. Amazing. And then the police themselves, some of them would follow us. Some of them will follow us. They are like,
wow,
don't think you know our job more than ourselves, okay? You have to understand that. And then one day I was actually walking on the streets of Nairobi, and then I was lifted from behind. I found myself walking on air. And when I said, can you put me down? I looked behind me, 3 men, serious chaps, yeah? And the only words they said to me, we know where you live, we know your names. We are just trying to tell you. When you guys write this drama, please can you show that we are defeating the police? Msionyeshe makarau wanatushinda. So amazing.
Wow.
Times.
Wow.
Amazing time. So I had to plead just to be kept on the ground, to walk on the ground, not to stop walking on air. And then I say to them, I heard you. So most of the time our script will be dictated by the feelings by the police, the feelings by the bad guys. And then you have the Kenyans caught in the middle, not really understanding everything as they should have. But anyway, cut a long story short, my acting, the one that we won awards is, as in terms of KBC, was theater special. That theater special, I was acting with a lecturer for Jomo Kenyatta University, David Mulwa. We were acting with the former Whispers, Wahome Mutai. We were acting together, and the play that won international award was known as Clean Hands. Clean Hands, brilliant play. It was sponsored by NCK, National Churches of Kenya, to combat or really address the issues of HIV/AIDS. And I remember one iconic line on that. They used to say, as long as you live, remember to keep your hands clean, because clean hands makes a heart pure. Lovely. So
wow. Now, can you tell me, going back, who inspired you? How did you join this? Because those days Some of us, all we knew, all most of our parents, all they knew is you have to be a teacher, you have to be work in the bank, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a nurse. Who inspired you, and how did you decide that this is the line? Because you've lived this line all through. Who inspired you? How did you decide to venture into journalism or into whatever you
I
did?
guess I guess it's my father. My father was doing so many things. He was a contractor, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, he used to have a group that used to entertain, an entertainment group. Actually, they sang in front of Kenyatta, President Kenyatta, many other
Mm-hmm.
places. It took him almost everywhere. So he was so much into arts at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. But
Mm-hmm.
that really what I drew a lot from him was the idea that he could just do more than one thing, which was fantastic. And
Mm-hmm.
I grew up knowing you don't need to just box yourself and always confess you're a lawyer, but you can also be a manager if you wish, or you be
Uh-huh.
a driver if you wish, whichever. So we don't need to do one thing. So but also my inspiration also came from as a child when I was growing up. I used to read a lot newspapers,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll tell you what. One of the things that never made sense to me, I'll read that the government has already budgeted to spend 1 billion shillings. And
Mm-hmm.
then I compare that with the population of Kenya. It's maybe about 20 million at the time,
Yeah.
or 30 millions, just to illustrate. And then as
Mm-hmm.
a child, I'm like, why are there poor people in our societies? This government is not doing the right thing. If they have 1 billion, why can't they just give each person 1 million? They'll spend only 20
Good
million.
thinking.
So, so I made up my mind that when I grow up,
Mm-hmm.
I'll do journalism and politics to understand how these connect.
You should have
So,
gone to politics.
well, the thing is, so my journey has been pretty long. So, cut a long story short, because of time, yeah, my acting, I went to the highest peak of it, and
Mm-hmm.
I loved it to bits. And you know, when you were on TV in Kenya during Voice of Kenya, you were a bigger celebrity because if you know, it
Of
was the only
course.
channel.
Of
It was the
course.
only channel. By
Uh-huh.
fire, by force, you had to watch it. It was the only channel available.
Black and white.
So I'll get myself taught on the street by children and a lot of things. And I signed autographs in Kenya. It was lovely, fantastic. But then after some time, I'm like, I like always to face challenges. I'm like, what I'm doing is kind of normal. I want an extra challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I ended up over here, came to study. I did my BA, which was brilliant at London Metropolitan. I also did my master's there as well at the same time. And then with time, I did more postgraduate diplomas, one at City University in broadcast journalism as well.
Uh-huh.
And before you know it, because I used to be in KBC as a Christian, I used to pray. Subconsciously, I would say, why can God just, God, can you change this K into B? So instead of KBC, it would be
Uh-huh.
BBC.
Uh-huh.
And God heard my prayers. In the end, I found myself working for BBC.
Yeah.
And now I immersed fully into journalism. So my
Mm-hmm.
storytelling is not the fiction and the acting now, but it's now real life facts based journalism,
Mm-hmm.
which now my career in journalism began. And while I was still in London, again, working for BBC, I ended up being correspondent for the Daily Nation, the
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Standard, the Star. So I've been a correspondent for all Kenyan newspapers while I've been around here, but not just Kenyan, other international publications like the Watch World Watch Monitor, many
Mm-hmm.
others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then I focused on broadcasting because that's where my passion has always been. So worked for BBC many years. I've been to BBC Home. We call when you look into BBC, we call this BBC World Service, and then there's BBC Home. Home they
Mm-hmm.
transmit within UK. World Service they transmit to the rest of the world in about 45. They used to do 45 languages.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
so. In the end, after working with BBC Home, big programs like Inside Out, based in BBC Southeast. I've worked in BBC Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in BBC Radio Essex.
Mm-hmm.
So many different stations. Then in the end, I found myself working for BBC Swahili service, which was fantastic because I love Swahili, and
Uh-huh.
it was great. Well, during that time, working with BBC, I interviewed a lot of, all the presidential candidates Kenya has ever had. In one
Mm-hmm.
way or the other, I had to interview some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Politicians, leaders from across Africa, a lot of people, but also international figures, not just Kenyan, but also other countries. So it's been a big journey away from BBC in terms of journalism. Now I worked for ITV, and I'll never forget those fantastic moments, like when I was sitting in the production of Ask Ken, which was the very first ITV show that brought the mayor of London, Ken Livingstone, with Londoners
Mm-hmm. By
together to
then, yeah,
debate
yeah,
on the
yeah.
issue. So I find myself sitting down next to Ken Livingstone with the most well-known television presenter in the ITV, Alistair Stewart, all of us with the editors discussing how this program is going to work. It was fantastic experience. I'll never forget,
Wow. Wow.
and from ITV, BBC, yeah, I've done a lot. Seriously, when I look back now, I've done a lot. So um, without, the focus on journalism as well is I've done a lot of documentaries, television documentaries, which if you go to my YouTube channel, you still find is still there. You can see some of the documentaries I've done. The most iconic, the one I recommend to men, is known as Get Checked, Get Checked, Get Checked. By Get
Mm-hmm.
Checked, this documentary was global. It was worldwide campaign to focus on men's health.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got so much. It's still there on my YouTube. Just search my name on YouTube, you see that. And guess what? When Kenya Airways was celebrating 40 years,
I
I was
remember
given
that.
privilege to do the documentary for Kenya
I
Airways
remember that.
celebrating
Mm-hmm.
45 years.
Mm-hmm.
40 years in operation. And I was happy. It's really cool to interview pilots or captains of planes when you're in the cockpit. That place is like sacred. Not many people ever go there. So I was so happy to be there. And when I'm doing this documentary, you know how tight security can be in the airports. I was so happy. At Heathrow, I'm cleared to film, to go anywhere I like. It was really nice, kind of a nice
Wow.
feeling.
Wow.
Yes. So
Wow.
it's a journey. It's a journey. Let me stop talking from there
It
because I
is.
don't want
I
to go into.
know. I know, no, 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 no. Listen, if you don't share, people will not get to know that these things are doable. And that is why, even my own journey, I don't mind sharing, because some people would sit there and think, is it achievable? Is it doable? Is it possible? So that is why I've said in Beacon of Hope, we inspire, we teach, we motivate. We want people to really know that some of those things that look impossible, we know. And as Christians, we believe with God, all things are possible. We know
Yeah.
that it is possible. There is nothing that we cannot do. Now, can you tell us still a bit more about yourself? You did say that you've interviewed most big personalities, presidents, and all that. Would you like to tell us some of the big names you've interviewed? It's not a show off. You really
Yeah.
inspiring somebody.
We're just
Go on.
sharing.
Yes.
Yeah. The most, let me put it this way, the most dramatic interview that I brought that story on BBC was the first one was me interviewing Bishop J.B. Masinde.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this important to me? People may wonder. I grew up when Deliverance Church in Nairobi was just small in a tent.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
week they are celebrating 37 years. I saw those
Yes.
pictures on social media, and I was there when they were in the tent. And you know what
Wow.
Bishop J.B. Masinde used to tell us? This one
Uh-huh.
time he was teaching us on how to pray. He used to tell us, when you talk to God, don't talk to God as if God is a poor man. Like when you want shoes, tell God what type of shoes you want. Don't begin to tell him, God, if you cannot manage this type of shoes, can I have slippers? You see that kind of thing. And that's my spiritual home in terms of knowing how to pray. Then I knew if I can ask for what I want, I'll ask for the best. When I pray, I'll ask for the best. Because God is not a poor man. His budget is not low. Or it doesn't depend on donor community.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
He's the owner of everything, even my life and everybody's life. So anyway, when you look
Amen.
into that, I was really very keen to know that. But now imagine this: when in my early teenage years, when I was there, when the church was attended, then I come and start to work for BBC, and we had just come at the back of covering the Hajj. The Hajj is a Muslim big time event in their life when they go to Mecca. Now, when we were doing it, we came all across approaching scholars, imams, and all of that. But when it came to cover Christmas story, our editors were like, why don't we just go on the street, talk to people, think about Father Christmas? I'm like, no. BBC is about facts. Let's go for the facts. Let's know this story, where it comes from. Let us know the origin of Christmas.
Yes.
And therefore, they challenged to me, we need to talk to pastor. Where are we going to get them? I said, I'm surrounded by so many of them. And it was that program we even read the Bible on air to find out where Christmas came from. And I just made one phone call, and Pastor Bishop J.B. Masinde was available. And he he held the whole show, because he's very well versed in terms of knowing these things about Christmas, about how it connects with the secular world and meanings get distorted. It was so brilliant. I was so happy that is one year that when I look into that Christmas story was brilliant. I value that a lot more than anything else, because it just to illustrate. But away from that, when you look into people I've come across, people I've interviewed former Kenyan PM, for those who are from Kenya, Kenyan PM, Raila Odinga, his former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, not once, former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. We have, Musalia Mudavadi, I interviewed him. Peter Kenneth, Martha Karua, all these people, I interviewed them. In fact, there was one time there was like, the presidential candidate, when you put them together in Kenya, I saw them all together. Only Abdi Dida I had not interviewed, but because he never came to UK. So that's Kenya for you. But away from Kenya, all these big icons, musicians, from Emmy Kosgei to a lot of the South Muhadara, Jimmy Gate, all these ones have been. Churchill himself, Churchill Ndambuki, the Churchill Show founder, I've interviewed him. A lot of Kenyan celebrities, big names, I've already interviewed them. But when I look back, there was this one time. In the US, they first won, for the very first time in the US history, someone who was, like from other communities away from mainstream community, happened to win Miss USA. And this lady was known as Nina Nafulundi. Because she won, she became the first Asian to win this beauty pageant in the US. And it's a nationwide win, which was serious stuff. She ended up being attacked by haters across. Some gave her strange names like Al Qaeda. So trod across. And in that heat of being trod across, she changed that to replace that with the hate campaign with love, saying our stance will be reaching out the world with love. And there was another chunk of people, supporters, to balance that equation. So I just got one phone call from a lot of people we worked very closely together that, Nina will be in London for just 2 hours on our way to Canada.
2 hours?
Just 2 hours. It's like a stopover. So if it's like changing in time, she doesn't want to do anything else. But he said to me, I told her you can interview her, and she seemed excited. I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And so away, what our journalism wants is pretty intense, pretty fast, because it's very time specific. And I'm like, how am I gonna make it to the hotel where she was before she flies out? And I'm, all the way in central London, and also, I'm a challenge. You take a challenge, you go, you just go, like, give it your best. And I went, and I managed to get hold of her. So I interviewed her. The only moment she was in the UK at the heat of when all these exchanges are happening, it was my interview that was shared across by a lot of media because no one else could
Wow.
reach her. So Nina Nafrundi, the first woman to win
Of color.
Miss America. Yeah, so that's another one. I've met all these people, former UN security, Kofi Annan, Secretary General Kofi Annan, the late Kofi Annan. A lot of people in the UK. I've interviewed also ministers, sometime in different situations, also celebrities. My documentary Get Checked, I did it with Colin Jackson. Is a world
Colin Jackson,
champion, and
yeah.
also
I know Colin Jackson,
he's
yeah.
also a BBC commentator. That I did that documentary with him as well. So in the UK, there's so many people from different countries I've interviewed. But also, of course, we are talking about those I've interviewed, making it sound as if only the well-known. What about you? Is it not me who did your story?
I was
So you are a
waiting.
celebrity too.
No, I'm not a celebrity. I always tell people I'm known. I'm not a celebrity. When you talk about celebrity, that makes people feel like, yes, I remember you did my story. You covered it very well, and it was in the papers all over, And actually, it's not once you've covered me, not once. I even came to your studios. You remember recently, and now there is an ongoing one. There is another interview coming for the ladies who are honored in the African women in Europe for our outstanding performance during the pandemic. You did, we've already booked that. So, out of all this, okay, you've done so much, Julius. I mean, listening to all the things all the people you've interviewed, all the places you've covered, right from when you are young, back home, Tamaki, and all those stories. I'm sure some people here, nimesema hizo ni za legends. There are people who will wonder, what is VOK? What is KBC? You did all that. You're coming from far. You've done so much. Now, I would like the idea behind coming here, like we said, we would like to inspire the younger generation. Right now, I say the other day we are handing over the baton. And that is why personally, I've got the mentorship program for those young people who want to join politics. And it is not just here, because politics, we can mentor you here to be a politician elsewhere. So my mentorship program spreads far. So, Julius, what would you tell young upcoming journalists, people who'd like to join media? It's not just the old. I believe even, people who are slightly, not just, 15, 17, not 20. What would you tell? What's your advice? How can one go into that ladder? How can one climb into the ladder of journalism, media? What do we need to do? What kind of studies? Or, just over to you and explain to us, because that's a different ball game for me. Ask me anything to do with politics, so it's at the tip of my fingers.
Journalism is a bit more like a calling in a way. It's anything that you are working for involves, like people themselves becomes your immediate resource for your work. It's such a serious thing. It's a bit more like becoming a doctor, because when you are becoming a doctor, you'll be dealing with people, treating people all the time. Or becoming like a pastor, you are preaching to human souls. So directly there, you are dealing with people directly. The career of journalism is all about people. Without people, whose story are you going to tell? Just like without people, the doctor's got no business to be a doctor. Who are you going to treat?
That's it.
So people come first. And because people come first, it's important to, number one, learn how to respect people. Because you learn a lot when you respect people, learn how to listen to people. I'll give you a story, a very brief one. One time I'm sent to cover story, interview minister from all parliamentary committee on HIV AIDS and HCV, HCV is hepatitis C. Now,
Mm-hmm.
while I'm there in that gathering, of course, the most important person there is a minister, government minister. But while I'm there, I hear one lady say, I was so happy when I learned I was HCV positive. HCV positive means you're suffering from hepatitis C.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like, why would anyone say they were happy? But you know what? Hepatitis C is a killer disease. Actually, it's worse than COVID-19. When I did my statistics some 10 years ago, I checked once and I found between just US and UK that particular year, about 250,000 had been killed by HCV
Wow.
hepatitis C. So
Wow.
it's a killer
Wow.
disease. It
Wow.
doesn't even have a cure today. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
have cure. So I'm thinking, why would anyone say they were happy to find out? They had it.
Mm.
And that thinking, again, journalism is about listening. And in your mind, you just process information. What does that mean? And I'm thinking, while I'm waiting to interview the minister, I'm still thinking about that. And then I'm like overwhelmed. I went to speak to the lady. I said, Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I overheard you just because I was close to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wasn't eavesdropping or anything. I was just close to you. I heard you. But you know what? Why would you say that? You were happy to find out you were HCV positive. And she says to me, are you nosy? Go away. And I went away. And then later I came back and I'm like, I know you don't know, but if you were to share your story, maybe you're going to help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Will you not want to share your story? And she was like, you're so persistent. You never let me, give me my freedom. Like, I didn't come to take your freedom, ma'am. It's your choice. If you're happy, I don't mind. And then she says to me, I'll give you my card, but on condition, don't ever give to any journalist. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. I'll keep your secret. I cut a long story short. On a Monday, she calls me to go for an interview, to interview her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the interview starts very well. Okay. And yeah, she's like, okay. And the most important question to me as a journalist is the question I said, how on earth does someone say I was happy to find I was HCV positive? I had hepatitis C, a killer disease. So I
Mm.
went for that after a very, couple of minutes. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
but by the
Mm-hmm.
way, yeah, let me know this because it was the most important question in my just going there. She said, why would you say that? And then she started to tell me her story. Says to me, a long time ago, when I was a small child, I was growing up hoping to get married one day, and that's fairy tale, live happily ever after. And it came to pass someday. I got married, and we were
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to go for honeymoon with my husband. But then, the moment I started to, just 2 days before, I started to feel unwell, and then we went to the hospital, and quickly the doctor diagnosed me being mentally ill.
Mm.
And now, when we came back 3 days later, my husband divorced me on the grounds of being mentally ill. And then she says, in my heart of hearts, I knew I was not mentally ill. I knew something was wrong, but
Mm.
not mental illness. And then
Yes.
she made her own research for like 7 years, reading books, comparing with the symptoms she had, to
Mm-hmm.
find out exactly what her problem was. Later, after she compared what she had gathered, took it to a different doctor. She got different testing, different investigation. And the doctor then said, you have always had hepatitis C. It's not mental illness. Do
Oh
you understand
dear.
why she was
Oh
happy?
dear. Oh dear. Yeah. 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 So she
Now she
was
was happy
relieved
because
of that.
I've
Uh-huh.
been vindicated. I was always right.
Yeah.
My husband didn't have to divorce me on grounds of being mentally ill. And you know what happens next? So I ended up asking a question I'm scared to ask anybody since that time. I say to her, Mom, okay, so what happened after that? She said to me, happily, I got remarried. And yeah, here's my husband, which is okay. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. So what are your future dreams? And then now that's a moment I was really hit myself. She says to me, we have no future dreams. A couple of months back, myself and my husband were given 6 months to live. So for me, it's my last 2 weeks, and it's 3 weeks for my husband. No,
Mm.
as a Christian, I'm like, is that moment in Swahili we say ishindwe, which
Mhm.
means let this spirit be defeated.
Ah, 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 ah.
And I started now to say, no, it's not going to happen. They made mistake before, I'm sure they made mistake this time.
Mhm,
She was
mhm.
like, don't, I know what you're trying to do. Don't worry. We are ready. And cut a long story short, after 2 weeks, I got a phone call and it happened, which was very sad.
Mm.
Which was very sad. So, but what am I trying to say? Journalism is keep your ears wide open.
Mhm.
Wherever you are, listen to what people are saying. It is people you are telling their story. Get their consent, permission. Make
Mhm.
sure you tell their story like the way they want it to be told. You
Uh-huh.
don't make up things that people didn't say, or you don't
Mhm.
run away with one sentence which you took out of context. It's important to learn
Yes,
this because
yes,
it's very important.
just right there, Baluto. This is where people hate journalists. And I'll use the word hate. I know hate is a very, very strong word, but I'm going to use it for now because journalists have been known to take issues or just one simple sentence and it's taken out of context and you build up a story on that. I mean, look at I'm not gonna go there, but I love my Kenyan politics. Obviously, I'm a politician. Just the recent by elections, just a small thing, and then it's just blown out of proportion. It's taken out of context, and people build on that. Even here, where we are, journalists are known for that. Now, is that something that you as a journalist have to be one who can exaggerate things, one who can really get just one word or one sentence and be able to magnify because I tend to think all journalists are the same. You just come, you go to try. I know you have to make your title quite eye-catching, quite interesting if people are reading or people are listening. But that's one thing that people don't like about journalists. And that is why I believe that lady told you she doesn't want, because if you hadn't had that story now the way you've explained, any other journalist would have gone out there and messed it up, giving all
Yeah.
sorts of stories. So one thing you've said, as a journalist, you got to keep your antenna, unaskiza kila mahali, because you could be on a bus and something happens and there you are with your cameras and you are recording things. So eyes and ears open. But why do you just like listening to all the negatives? Why do you like? Is it because only negative stories sell?
No, I'll come to that. The thing is, if you look into mainstream big media, I'll give an example. Look at, for example, CNN. CNN management will give CNN maybe 1 hour program today. Dedicate that 1 hour to Africa. Africa has 54 countries. Some countries in Africa are bigger than um, like Democratic Republic of Kenya is almost the size of Eastern Europe, and
Mhm.
some countries are really big. When you look into Africa, what about populations of these countries? Did you know that even to date, Nigeria alone has got over 210 million people? So
Mhm.
you can just imagine that alone and dynamics, and Africa. So when you give CNN dedicates 1 hour to cover 54 countries, why don't we flip that? And I say, if I give CNN Kenya can provide big stories every day for 24 hours for CNN. And it. Some stories are never
Yeah.
told, but they are big enough.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
because there was no room for it. So I'll tell you my own experience. I've sat down in editorial meetings. Sometime we are making decisions what story to cover. But in some context, depending on which media, you may find a boat capsized in Tanzania, five people dead. That's not, they're still listening. It's like, hawajanguzwa, you don't be touched by that. They're still like, okay, what else is there, you know? Sometimes you hear, okay, Boko Haram have kidnapped 2 people. They're not listening again. Like, how many? 6. Okay. And the moment you say, oh, Boko Haram has kidnapped 200 people, they're like, now we are talking. Now we are talking. So sometimes
That's
it's about
news now.
it's the numbers involved, numbers of people affected as well. And also the type of story. If it's very unique and different, even if it's a small scale, it will still be a big story. But unfortunately, the world is really, the world has never been a happy place since time immemorial. You know, uh, and there's a lot of negative big stories everywhere, to the level that if you're working as a journalist or you've been into media, sometimes you're like, what seems to be really in a unique way great and something, like, imagine your sister's been given MB by the Queen for services to community, and you're like, media, oh yeah, but we have to handle some hurricanes somewhere. If it's good, it's normal. Do you understand?
I do.
That's why you find people like me. I started the newspaper in former East Africa because I want also to be able to celebrate those who achieve. We shouldn't treat that as normal. Yeah, even a beautiful wedding should be news. Seriously, because where I come from, life is not always about gloom and doom.
That's right.
There are
That's
good
right.
things that happen. Someone saved another one's life. It should be a story. As much as we are going to focus on earthquakes and hurricanes and Boko Haram and Al Shabaab and ISIS, there's some good in this world.
Wow.
And I'll never forget. That's why I founded Informa East Africa and also these other platforms, so that we talk about the good. Because listen, being in journalism and media, journalism can be, you can get affected because you ask yourself questions after 6 o'clock bulletin, so probably after a whole bulletin, and when you analyze all the stories were heavy, they were so bad stuff happening to people, and I ask myself, what about a Tanzanian student who came to London School of Economics and they want to practice their law in the UK? What if we were to tell a story of an African student with a law firm in London? That student doing that law course should be like, there's hope for me. But if we keep telling them about Al Shabaab, ISIS, Boko Haram, hurricanes and earthquakes, what's the point of learning? This world is ending.
I like that, but I think what you're trying to say, obviously, journalism is about the good, the bad, and the ugly, all mixed up. I know our time just moves so quick. We're gonna come back to that, but I also wanted you to briefly touch on, because you are meant to have been here in another program. In the diaspora, we know that men face challenges. Would you like to share some of the challenges that you think maybe hinder the male men from rising, or maybe some of the challenges that they face? And in Kenya they usually say that the male child or the boy child is under siege, so the child is really, wanasema kijana ameachiliwa sana. All the efforts have been turned to the girl child. So would you like to briefly mention that before we come back to the journalism?
Yeah, what I found out is that in life you have to really, number one, know what you want in life and pursue it. Number two, opportunities to come your way, but you need to choose what opportunity you're going to embrace, because some of the time when you choose a particular way to go, is kind of fixed in a way. That's where you end up. And most of the time I saw, in my life history over here, I've seen a lot of people who have messed up because of listening to people who gave them wrong advice. I'll give you an example. You know, early those days, you come to UK and rumors were every corner. Don't go to work, you'll be deported. But instead of just saying, how does it work? If you're required to have a work permit, look for work permit. Don't listen to people, because the moment you allow yourself to be frightened, you never do anything, and you stay frightened. In the end, you have bills to pay, but where is the money? Don't listen to advice of people. You need to identify, craft your way forward, know where you want to go, focus on that, have a goal, have a vision, pursue it relentlessly. And for me, I've been in the media for all these years we're talking about. My journalism years could go up to about 25 years. But because when you talk about from BBC to ITV to even all this media, newspaper and all, that's a very sensitive position to be in. It puts you on spotlight. Then again, if you value integrity and you pray, and also you respect people, and I do a story for people, I always factor almost everything. That, yeah, how will this come across? We are working together. I'm going to tell you a story from your point of view, unless of course we are investigating. Also, it's going to be factual in a way that I cannot be there is no controvertible evidence that can put me in trouble, because at the end of the day, you can be sued, liable to all these things. But I thank God I've stood in this career because I respect people and I value people. And when we interact, everything that I ever do, it is just the way you want to be represented. And that's very important. So the same thing when we're talking about male child, it's not about living and feeling like you're a victim. No, the thing is you have to, just like even when you used to talk about girl child, there are still people who did exploits. Talk about our late Professor Wangari Maathai, became a Nobel Peace winner for just an issue on focus on environment. What about you? What are you focusing on? We, as men, we are not supposed to sit down and be sorry about ourselves. We are supposed to fall. I'll tell you something. When I interviewed Professor Guge Wathiongo, there is one, he challenged me because he wanted to find out if I read his books before I interview him. And say, yeah, I did. And I thought telling him I did will let me off the hook. He said, which one? Which one? And I'm like, oh, I read several, but the one that caught my attention was a book known as Detained. This book, according to him, he wrote it when he was in prison. And when he came out, it was published. But there is a stanza there he wrote on a poem when he was like, which part did you like most? So you have to do your homework again, because you went there to interview someone, you think because you're a journalist that they'll give you their time. How much do you know about that person even before they give you their time?
That's right.
That's the situation I was in. So I say to him, the place that caught my attention on your book, Detained, was a stanza that you wrote. It says, which one? And then this is a stanza you wrote. And it's many, many years for him before we met in London, many years for, also many years for me when I read it last, but it is stuck in my mind, thank God. So I say to him, this is the way this stanza goes. While you are alive, don't say never. Security isn't certain, but things won't remain as they are.
Yes.
But when you are beaten down, remember to rise up, remember to fight on, for those defeated today shall be the victors tomorrow. So when you look into the context of someone who wrote those words, he was in a prison. But his words came with hope.
Yes.
In his time in Kenya, you know, we used to have detention without trial.
I know those days.
You're banged up. No one can question you. You don't even to be produced in court. And when you're in prison that time, what's your hope? So when you hear someone in the prison saying, while you are alive, don't say never. Security will not be certain. But when you are beaten down, remember to rise up. Remember to fight on. For those defeated today shall be the victors tomorrow. That's what I want men to believe. We'll be beaten. by storms of life, by sometimes following a path and you find it was the wrong path, but you still have to find the correct path. These are the things that come on the way of man. But your
Mm-hmm.
duty is always to remember you have to keep on fighting. You have to
Mm-hmm.
keep on remember, don't stay down. Rise up and
Mm-hmm.
keep fighting. So even
Hiyo
if
ndio
you are a
hiyo
loser
ndio
today,
hiyo ndio ujumbe wako kwa wazee. Hiyo ndio ujumbe wako kwa
yes,
wazee. Wasikae pale
yes,
wakianguka, they rise up and brush off and
yeah,
go,
you keep
because wengine
fight on.
wanaanguka wanakaa tu.
They begin to say like Nigerian movies where they say, I'm finished. You're not finished. Wake up, rise up, fight on.
Okay, Baluto, I know we've got very few minutes now. Going back, just quickly, almost wrapping up. How
Yeah,
can one join that field of journalism, media, and particularly now we're talking to, we've got people in the diaspora, young people who would like,
yeah,
who aspire to, just go into that journey. Just quickly wrapping up, telling us
yeah,
what do we need? How do we go into that career?
yeah. Journalism is an important career. It's got its own benefits. You need to be bold to venture in this world
Like you are Monsieur
because
wa
it's not
Kenyare.
it's not for the faint-hearted.
Uh-huh.
In some situation, you really have to interview serious people, get caught in
Uh-huh.
some situations. You need
Uh-huh.
that boldness and you need the passion because it's about
Yeah.
passion. Without the
Yeah.
passion, you start and you drop. But when you already have the passion, you have the drive to go for it. You need to be also knowledgeable. So get education, and also after you get education, which is like the basic, you also
Mm-hmm.
need a practical
Mm-hmm.
experience. Like
Mm-hmm.
even with my master's, I had to do postgraduate diploma in broadcast journalism to get to know how these technologies work and
Mm-hmm.
how stories are told on TV and radio. You have to get the training as well. And then when you
Mm-hmm.
have the training, while you are in the training, university places they even offer some of our mentorship program. For the last 6 years, I have been journalism student mentor at City University, where I studied all those years. When I look in this, media of UK, countries, Sweden, and wherever, I still see my mentees working already, which is a
Wow.
brilliant thing. So I'm
Yeah.
still a mentor for journalism student in City University. I'm still a current mentor for that. And so mentorship is something I do a lot, not just university. I also have worked with young people as well. So if you want to get mentored on into journalism, just get in touch, feel free. What I didn't mention was also the Informa East Africa newspaper, which is up and running, is still there in a bigger scale. And there are those moments that we can carry on working with you. What I want to tell people is that if you want journalism most of the time, before they say, how much have you studied? They are like, what have you done? What is your portfolio?
Mm-hmm.
And you may be surprised how small things end up being big things. I can
Mm-hmm.
do a story with you. We can cover that on Informa East Africa. But now, because that web link is there to show something you have done, that's something you can say you did when you're looking for another opportunity. So you start with
Mm-hmm.
that one opportunity. You keep building your portfolio with many things you have done. In the end, you find you have a lot of things you have done. And it becomes easier to venture into journalism when you have done stuff that can be seen and all that. But don't be frightened. You can still come from uni, get mentorship as well. That's why some of us are still there. So whoever wants to be mentored into journalism, feel free. My contacts are readily available. So yeah, you can always get in touch. I'll be happy to do that.
Excellent, excellent. Julius, I always tell people the reason behind starting this a beacon of hope, just like the title says, hope, giving hope to our people, and particularly focus so much on our community. Most of the things we discuss on Beacon of Hope is to do with our community because I'm thinking of the future. We're looking at our children. We wouldn't want our own children to do the jobs that we did, or we wouldn't want our children to go through what we had to go through to get to where we are. We'd like them to be better people. We'd like them to be better equipped. And that is why I always make sure that I bring all sorts of people to come and talk to them. Sometimes I'll bring parents to come and talk to our children. Sometimes I'll bring, like last week, I'll bring the young people to come and share their experiences of growing up here. And like now, yours, it's a line that I know most young people look into and they think, do you know, personally, when I was growing back up, I really wanted to go into journalism. I loved it. I wanted to go and work in Voice of Kenya. But all I knew is just sitting there and broadcasting. I can see Wamushiwa Kenyare is here. She can tell me and correct me. But you see, I didn't do that, but I ended up into teaching, which is not very different because it needs someone who can talk, someone who can quickly think. But we really want to inspire our children. We really want to mentor our young people into all these different career paths so that we want to broaden their thinking, thinking outside the box, not just what they see us doing, because now at least we've learned a lot and some of them need that exposure. So whenever I call people, whenever I have guests here, the idea is to inspire, to teach, to motivate so that people can learn from us. So how can people get you? How can people? Because I know our people would love to get mentored by you in that line.
Yeah. My email is the easiest email is editor@informereastafrica.com. editor@informereastafrica.com. And of course, my number, you can always reach out to my sister Elizabeth, but I will give you my number 0788 654 4135. 0788 654 4135.
Right. Julius, I know you've got another interview. I know you've got some other place where you have to go and confirm that number. But you know what? The bits that we have shared, like I said, the reason behind starting this program is to inspire people, to motivate people, to mentor. We want to be mentors into the different fields that people would love to venture, and particularly this now, your line, journalism and media. It's a line that here it's very marketable, not just here, but people do not know how to go about it, and they do not know what needs to be prepared. You just told me about being on the lookout. So you need to have that compound eye such that you can see almost everything around you. You need to listen, and then you need to consolidate all that information and mind how you share so that you don't get yourself in all this trouble. Anyway, I know, Julius, there is still more that you'd love to share, but because of time, what is your parting shot as we leave this place tonight?
Yeah, it is doable. Journalism is doable. It's a career that anyone can do, just like any dream. I always tell people, never stop dreaming. And as you shouldn't stop dreaming, you need to understand how God works. You don't sit in one place and keep praying. You need to start moving. It is when you start moving, you realize now God connects you with your destiny helpers. They're on their way.
Yes.
They're not sitting for you to wait and sit. Keep moving, start journey, keep walking. As you walk by faith in that career, you're going to get help. I've gotten help in so many ways, but I had to start moving. Can you imagine living Kenya, beautiful country, nice? People are like, why do you even want to live? You have the nicest thing. And I'm like, no, I want something different. And I never knew anyone here. So if I didn't start moving, all what has come to pass would not have passed. Start moving. I know. Don't wait to get all the answers. The answers may come as you keep moving. So start that journey and embark on it. And as you walk, God will do the rest. Is doable. Lastly, mentorship is very important. Because when you're interacting with people who are already there in the industry, they know a lot of things that may be new to you. Ensure you're mentored, connect, because when you are mentored, you are likely to make less mistakes. For me, I'm always very happy because I always tell my mentees, I want you to do better than I ever did. When I see you flying, I'm always happy. I salute you. You may never see me. You are my mentee. I'll salute you. But you may not see me. But in my heart, I salute you. I'm happy because I'm like, I thank God we connected. This life is about passing on the baton. I know I've been there,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to look back in the future when I will be walking with that walking stick and I'll see the world dotted with journalists I've mentored. That's my dream.
Mm.
So pursue it. It's doable. Don't give up.
Wow, wow, wow. Viewers, tonight in our Beacon of Hope program, we've just had a very inspiring message from one of us, Dr. Julius Baluto, who is a broadcaster. He's done that for ages. You know, those of you who are the legends remember the VOK. He used to act, the Hamaki, and all those places. And now here in the UK, Baluto is still a broadcaster. He's still a journalist. He has a magazine where a newspaper in former East Africa, and he does a lot of things for our community. And Baluto is here. He said in his line of journalism and media, if anybody wants mentoring, he does that. He does that even in the university, City University. He's been doing that for the last 6 years. And why not? Let's reach out. Help is there. It's just a phone call away, and you get the help that you need. So don't shy off. If you really feel this is something that you or your child or somebody you know would like to venture into, come on, help is at hand. So, as we come to the end, I would like to acknowledge a few people. And Bogwa, thank you for watching. Damaben, thank you because you've made several comments. That means you've really been learning. Councillor Leila Bat, good to see you, my sister. Thank you. Good, good. You joined us. I can see John Bogwa is saying very inspiring, and thank you so much. Wamushiwa Kenyari is one of our journalists in Kenya. She's a broadcaster. John Bogwa once again. Nyamburawa Kamau, my sister, thank you for tuning in. Dol Kazijao, my sister, all the way in Kenya, thank you for tuning in. Judy Bonnie, I appreciate you. Stacy Moga, good to see you, my sister. You've been watching. My sister Jane. Regina Mobi, it's good to see you. You've been here with us. Mary DiCaro, good to see you. Esther Wakangau, she's in Kenya. She's traveled, but she's been following. She's been with us. Let me see who else. Regina Mobi, yes, I can see you. Sanboni. And obviously, my darling, Bishop BK has been here with us. Luce Kehara is saying, very well said, Baluto. Doc Azijao, I can see you. You are there. And so many others because I cannot see all the names here. I can see people are talking about that tahamaki. It's something that most of the Kenyans here know about that. And even the voice of Kenya, John Kaniaru, has been with us. Desrecha has been with us also. And Jeff Kush. And all the other people who will watch after this. And Bonnie, I can see you are there. Abuiwa, Kemani, and Bishop. Anybody else who will watch after this, I always encourage people, share, please. Go to my YouTube channel, Beacon of Hope Beacon. Encourage somebody, just go there and share. Let's like us. That's Beacon of Hope Beacon. That's our YouTube channel. Like us and subscribe. Click that bell, and anytime we are live, you will always be the first one to know when I'm uploading a new video, when we are live, because we do come on live quite often. Now, just a quick reminder, tomorrow we have Beacon of Hope, the main family program with Bishop BK. Please tune in, and that's at 8 o'clock. Every Friday, don't miss, 5 p.m. We have different people coming to talk to us. And on Tuesday, we have got a leadership versus management program for 1 hour at 7 p.m. with Bishop BK. All these programs are under one umbrella, Beacon of Hope. If you go to our YouTube channel, Beacon of Hope, you will see all what you have uploaded, all what you've been missing, and you can follow. You never know where you will get something that will benefit you. Once again, Beacon of Hope, inspiring, motivating, and teaching. We want to inspire people, and that is why I bring people who have managed, who have been there before us, so that they can inspire others. We want to teach, we want to motivate somebody, we want to encourage. And even as Christians, we believe with God all things are possible. So once again, thank you so much to my guest. Tonight we had Dr. Julius Baluto, who is a broadcaster, who is a journalist, who is an author. He's got so many hats in one. He's from Kenya, but he lives in UK. really inspiring. He's gone on a journey which really is anybody listening to this would not believe the things he's achieved. And once again, Julius, asante sana, tumeshukuru for you
Thank you very
opening up,
much.
sharing your journey. I'm sure it will inspire somebody. For those who are just joining in, Newton Kihanga, you can look, share that, and listen to that afterwards. We want once again to appreciate you. God bless you. And I'll let my guest go.
Thank you.
Baluto, asante sana kwa kuja. Tumeshukuru.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. God bless. Asanteni sana once again. And that has been our program, Beacon of Hope Friday special edition with a special guest where we learned about journalism and media and bits of men challenges. And, we didn't have that much time, but Baluto has shared a lot. If you want to listen to this, go back, share. You can go to our YouTube channel, Beacon of Hope Beacon, where we have been saving all these. And I want to appreciate also the people who have been on YouTube, the people who have joined us on Facebook. Now, tomorrow, please, let's connect again tomorrow at 8 p.m. with Bishop BK, where we have Beacon of Hope Family Program. And then on Sunday, we have our service, Powerhouse Church, same channels, Powerhouse Church at 3 p.m. We have our service. Do not miss. Connect with us. A lot is happening in Beacon of Hope. Wishing you a lovely evening. Wishing you a blessed day. Those of us who are daytime, those who are in the evening, have a blessed day. God bless you. But remember, COVID is still here. Stay safe, please. Stay safe. I repeat, stay safe. If you need to go out, wear your masks. Avoid clouded places. I know some of us are saying it's over, it's over. It's not yet over. But with God, all things are possible. This is Councillor Elizabeth Kangeve, Mrs. Bishop BK, signing off from the London Borough of Buckingham Dagenham Beacon of Hope program. Till next time, God bless you. We love you. Signing off.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Tumaki too.
So once again, we're signing off. Thank you, Nyaburawa Kamau, for the good work. Our boy Wakimani, yes, we are late, but you can always watch that. So thank you so much. Have a good night. God bless you. Till next time, we're signing off. Shalom. Bye-bye.